5 years ago, when I started making YouTube videos, I never thought that I'd be making videos about paint or the process of it drying, but I guess people like to see that, and turns out I like to talk about it, so it's kind of weird. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about priming, undercoating, candy coating, all these different things which you need to know if you're going to be airbrushing or doing complex things to your model kits. First of all, if you're going to be airbrushing anything, you need to prime it, because the difference between spray cans like this, well, I'll use this one because this is literally what I'm talking about. Spray cans like this, and the difference between cans like this and airbrushing is because airbrushing, you thin it down with alcohol, you thin it down with paint thinner, it will not stick. Even if you were to spray the raw paint, it will not stick, because this is mixed with chemicals that cause it to stick. People usually prime with this, but I slide by, I don't prime with it. It may not stick as well, I don't think. I've never had any issues with it not sticking. I mean, they're for model kits. It's not like you're going to be handling them all the time. They're going to sit on your shelf and they're going to look good. They're not meant to be touched all the time. It will rub off over time, though, but it will do that with primer as well. But what I do with these paints right here, these cost about $6.50, $6.50, is that I just spray this directly on the plastic. I don't prime it or anything. Just make sure you clean it up real nice. Make sure there's no lint or grease from your fingers on there, or oils, not grease. But yeah, you don't want to get any like oils from your skin onto the piece when you're spraying it. So you definitely need to prime your pieces if you're going to airbrush them. And another thing is that you need to prime them if you're going to, say for example, if the piece is blue and you want to paint it white, if the piece is blue, you want to paint it red or something, because that will mess up with your color. The reason for priming, like say for example, if I'm painting something black, you don't need to prime that because it's black. It's going to cover up everything regardless. But if you want to change the color and make the color pure, then you 100% need to prime that piece, definitely. And what I use to prime it is, there are 3 different types of primer, depending on what you want your outcome to be. White primer, if you want vibrant colors. Gray primer, if you want it to be dull a little bit, or closer to what it looks like on the top of the can. White, it'll be very bright. But, and black primer. Black primer is if you want to make it really, really dark, or if you want it to be really, really reflective. If you want chrome like this, then you certainly need to paint your piece with the black primer first. And I have a couple different primers that I can show you. The Model Master brand is what I always stick by with primer. Tamiya has a new formula of white primer out there. I've not tried that yet, so if you have tried that, it's in a tall white can. It's like this. So if you've tried that, let me know what it's like, because, I mean, I don't really need any right now, but I'm still curious to see how it does, and it is new. But there's the Model Master white primer. I never use any gray. I did buy some gray for my airbrush, but I would always recommend to not airbrush primer. I don't know why people airbrush primer, because it comes in this, but this is what I use recently. The black vinyl top coat. Base coat, actually. Black vinyl base coat. What I used to use was Tamiya black paint. I would spray that on to get a nice, clean, very beautiful looking black. These legs right here were painted in the Tamiya black without priming or anything. This entire kit, I didn't prime any of the pieces on this kit. And the red right here is a different color than what I intended it to be, because I did not prime it. However, the black, of course, that is what I intended it to be, because it's black. But that looks very beautiful. And a comparison between Tamiya black on plastic and the vinyl coat, which is going to look like this right here. And I think that this is very beautiful right here. And what I'm going to be doing is later I'm going to spray paint this and I'm going to edit together. You see what it looks like in this video. But you can spray can on airbrush. You can spray it on with these little cans here, or you can put it into your airbrush. And I definitely recommend to use these. It's like $4 or $5 a can, possibly $6 depending on where you go. It's totally worth it. You can buy little bottles of primer for your airbrush, but it is such a mess to deal with. You got to thin it out, and then you got to run it through your brush, and then you got to clean your brush. And this stuff, if you let this stuff sit for a few minutes while you're off doing something, maybe you need to run upstairs and grab some more supplies or something. I don't know what you're doing, but if you let it sit, it will brick your airbrush. It will completely, it'll become like a little piece of cement in there. This stuff is solid, especially that gray primer that I felt. That's made by Tamiya, I think, that I used. I definitely recommend to use this over any of the airbrush stuff. There are people who use that use it successfully. They are like Vegeta 2258 or whatever his name is. He is a master at it. I'm not a master, so I'm using these, and I will continue using these because it is so easy. I always use white primer though. That's what I stick with. But if I wanted to like gray something down a little bit, I will use like a gray primer. But yeah, that's all for this. And definitely, if you want to paint anything white, you can never just brush this on. You can never just spray this on the pieces and hope for it to be like that. Never. You've got to prime it white, and then you've got to put slow layers of this on there. You've got to put 3 or 4 coats of this on there, and you get it beautiful. And then put like a clear coat on. As far as clear coats, maybe you'll tell me about the clear coats. I have been using a couple different things. I started off using the Future Perfect paint, which was told to me by another model master known as, what is her name? Kibo Collection. She told me about that. It didn't really work well for me. I probably did something wrong, but it's Future Floor Wax, and it kind of really makes it really fragile in my experience, especially when airbrushing. Another thing that I used was, it was like a bottle of clear stuff. I used it on my Sinanju, but that caused the paint in the lower, the other layers to run, but that may have been because I only gave it about 6 hours to dry. You need to give your paints plenty of time to dry. 5 hours, 6 hours is not enough. You need to give it an entire day to dry. It will feel dry to the touch in an hour. But if you press on it, you will definitely leave your fingerprint on there because it is still a bit wet. You need to let it completely dry. And that's another thing I can't really stress enough. If you're putting multiple coats on these things, let it dry for a complete day. The difference between the drying times between a day and like 5 and 6 hours is remarkable. I can just vouch for that myself. Alright, so this has been sitting out there for a couple hours. The paint is still drying, and this stuff is just rank. This stuff smells horrible. I hate the smell of this stuff. But this is what it looks like after I have put the chrome coat on. This was the same piece that was black, and it's so metallic that you can actually see light reflecting off of it. And actually, the difference between the chrome without the black and the chrome with the black is actually remarkable. This is the chrome without the black. See, I mean, it does kind of reflect because I didn't undercoat these in black, but the gun right there is more. This is more reflective. It could be just because this is so round, but yeah. And that's all for now. I'll see you guys later.